What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 26. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason. I'm joined, as always, by Travis. Travis, what's good this afternoon?
It's Cyberpunk Friday.
It is, and we have all been cyberpunked.
Hey, listen, the biggest Ashton Kutcher joke of all time.
The biggest Ashton Kutcher joke of all time. What's that?
He had the show called Punked.
Ah, yes, I forgot about that. That was I enjoyed that as a teenager, but then that grew old pretty quick.
Yeah, it did, but like most things when you're a teenager.
Yeah. Well, Travis, for the uninitiated or the noobs here on the podcast, we are a weekly PlayStation podcast where you and I get together to cover all the news, rumors, upcoming game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. We post new episodes every Sunday on all of the usual podcasting platforms. And if you would like to engage with us, you can do that on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. If you'd like to catch some of our streams and gameplay clips, you can do that on YouTube at the DualSense Podcast. And without further ado, talk to me about what you've been playing in the past week.
Well, I'll try to get through mine quick so we can get to what everybody wants to hear about, which is your Cyberpunk experience. Let's see here. What do we do? Last week we had the F2 race in the league I'm in. Feature race, I did pretty well. I was one spot out of the points, which isn't bad for my first competitive race in an F2 car. In the sprint race, got a really good start, was up to 5th, and then forgot to brake and crashed into everybody. So that was bad, and I got a bunch of penalty points for that. So I'm only allowed to qualify for 5 minutes of the 30 this weekend.
What does that mean, 5 minutes of the 30?
So you have like a 30-minute qualifying session. So most people will go out and run like a certain compound just to get loose or get a feel for the track, and then you'll come in and switch and try to put in a really fast lap. So
Gotcha.
Having 5 minutes means I'll get maybe 2 laps in. So I got to just hit it right. So I'll probably start last.
Out of what, 20?
Yeah, but that limits the possibility of me crashing in front of pit row again and getting disqualified. So it could be a blessing. See here, GT Sport, which I streamed Wednesday night in the Manufacturer Series. My time trial time was 7:30 in the world. Was like a 1:17 flat, and then my qualifying time for the race was like 1:19. So I don't know why I can't qualify with any pace, but anyway, I've always been better at racing than qualifying. But I rage quit the first race.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, I did some pretty nice maneuvering to move up through the field in that race, and ran a couple of guys off track who bumped me out of the way a few times. I don't like it when people push you out of the way, especially when it makes you lose 5 positions. So, and when you're faster than them. So I caught everybody. I caught him back up and I ran him off the road twice, but I ended up quitting because I got a notification because my controller turned off, and I looked up at the screen out of habit, and then I just forgot to brake and do a turn. And I sailed off into the sand dune shadow realm and crashed.
Off to Neverland.
So I got mad and quit, and then did the race again in the next time slot, and qualified 9th with a terrible time again, and ended up finishing 2nd on a 1 stop. Most guys did 2 stops where they would go like run the medium tires twice and then run the hards once. I ran the mediums for 8 laps and the hards for 10. And I just saved my tires. That's all I did, and it basically gained me the 7 positions that I needed just off of strategy and keeping my pace kind of consistent. So got 2nd. That's a good finish. I think we played Black Ops, but I don't remember anything significantly happening.
Yeah, yeah, I
um,
agree.
I know I had 50 kills at Nuketown one time.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but other than that, nothing much really sticks out. 2K was our league is pretty fun. Traded for
Hmm.
Myers Leonard, and I hit like 4 threes with him in his first game, so that
Hmm.
saved me that game. I somehow beat the Warriors the other night by like 2. It took everything I had, and then I think one of them, I think Steph missed a wide open 3 at the buzzer. No, I'm sorry, that was the Pelicans. I beat the Warriors by 2, and then I beat the Pelicans by 1, and JJ Redick missed a wide open 3 at the buzzer in overtime.
Hmm.
And I hit a
Well,
buzzer
that's luck.
beater. I hit a buzzer beater at the end of regulation with Gilgis Alexander, which was pretty cool. The camera was pretty awesome. Like it zooms out, and then he ran down the court with
That's
everybody
cool.
chasing him. So that's pretty sweet. So
Yeah.
our league's pretty fun. Neither of our teams are great.
Mine's trash.
When I win, it's like it takes everything I have.
Right.
Like, but I don't really get mad. I got mad against the Warriors because I scored. What did I tell you? I had like 15 points at halftime, something like that,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and I was just missing like I would steal the ball, be wide open on the break, and instead of dunking it, like Alexander would try to finger roll it, and I'd miss the layup. That made me mad.
Hmm.
Or like Al Horford was like missing putbacks with nobody on him. Like that's when I get mad. I don't get mad when I lose by 40. Like that's a little
Yeah.
different.
I'm really upset, as you know, I'm really, really upset about the fact that they have done something to the layup shot meter. Like it's something that existed until about 2 weeks ago, and now every time you do a layup, there's no shot meter. So I just unnecessarily miss layups all the time because it doesn't show you or give you any feedback on timing, and
Right.
that's very infuriating.
And then even the developers say the layup timing changes based on if you're contested, your angle, your speed, all that fun stuff. So to not always have a shot meter makes it nearly impossible to
Yeah.
consistently finish. And like the other day, I finally Euroed. So I've been trying to Euro since the game came out. It never works. I usually just
Mm.
run a guy over. So I Euro with Darius Miller of all people, who's like a 71 on the break. And I Euroed perfectly right around JJ Redick, just bam, bam, and with the left hand, and I got no meter. So when I released the ball, it said late, wide open, and I threw it off the side of the backboard. Like I didn't even hit the rim.
Uh
It's
huh. Just like all
perfect.
that for nothing.
All
Yeah.
right, so
Yeah.
finally got it to work though. So whatever. But
So going
anyway,
back going back to your racing deal with the controller turning off, it just dawned on me. Did your controller turn off because you had to have it on while you were using the wheel? Like, is that what happened, or like, what turned off exactly? Like, did you have the dual sense off to the side and then it timed out or whatever because you're actually racing on the wheel, or what?
yeah, it just timed out. So normally I have it. So on the PS4, like your controller stays on because um, well, it doesn't have to, but on the PS4, I would leave it on and I would listen with my headset on.
Hmm.
But I wasn't doing that with this. I was just racing with the TV noise. I had no reason to wear a headset because I wasn't in a party or anything. So I had the controller
Hmm.
sitting down. I didn't really think about it. So all I'd used the controller for was to change a few setup things pre-race, and then I just set it down.
Hmm.
Never
Okay.
occurred to me it would turn off. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So
That
so
makes
and then out of
sense.
habit, I looked up. I always look. I do the same thing. Like if we're playing Call of Duty and somebody signs in or somebody joins the party, I'll just look up at the screen and I'll immediately die. Like you think I would learn to just ignore the notifications?
Right. Well, I have also been playing NBA 2K21, continuing that. I mostly played the league this week with you, as you said. Played a little bit of triple threat on my team. I finally got Stephon Marbury, or I may have talked about that last week, but that's pretty much where I'm at in triple threat in my team. And then, like you said, I'm enjoying the league. My team is awful. I think I'm 4-8 or maybe 4-9, and it's fun playing with them though. I'm missing something. I think none of my guys can play defense is the problem, which like we've talked about in the past. And when you don't have guys that can defend, you're in bad shape. So I've got a decision to make. I've got to decide if I'm going to start Biombo at center or Mason Plumley. I'm not sure yet. Right now, Plumley is because he's a little bit bigger, but I'll see. We'll see about that. So, but I do enjoy it. I like Charlotte's uniforms and their court. It's awesome. So that helps as well. Then played Black Ops, like you said. I think I did. I think I played like I normally play, as far as like, going like 36 and 22 and stuff like that, which is about normal. It's fun though. We've got some free weapon blueprints this week. We talked about the other night. So a couple new weapons that I want to try out. And I also played Red Dead Online, just challenges from the new Outlaw Pass, just trying to work through that to level that all the way up. And I got to say that I think that once I finish the Outlaw Pass, once I get to 100 on that, I think I'm going to delete it again for the time being until they do another content update, because I need the space. I need the space, as I'm about to talk about. So I also played more Days Gone this week, which I am way more into this time than the last time around. And things were starting to click for me a little bit, and I had upgraded the bike some, and I'm working on getting a camp trust level up so I can buy an M60 and things like that. So it's sticking. Yeah, it's sticking a little bit better, sticking the landing with me a little bit better this time. However, well, I'll get to that in just a second. I also played a free to play game, which is new out this week, called Vigor, from the guys who made DayZ, and it's much more polished than DayZ from what I can tell.
Looks that way.
Yeah, and it's not a battle royale per se. You're not dropping in and trying to be the last one living. It's more of a survival game. So you have a persistent like camp house in between games that you're working to upgrade, and that's where you craft weapons and materials and clothing and things like that. So you can upgrade the camp house with things you get in the game, materials, and then you go and play these different game modes. The main one's called Encounter, and there are other players in there with you, and you can kill each other. But the goal is to get as much resources and materials as you can, excuse me, as you can, and then to collect the airdrop that comes in during each game, because it has the most valuable supplies. And last night before I got off, I got the airdrop and I got out, and I didn't have a gun the entire time. I could not find a gun. I didn't have one.
Cool,
somehow I got the airdrop and avoided everybody and got to like a boat dock and got out. It's very similar to Hunt Showdown, just without monsters. It's just people instead
just
of
perfect.
no monsters, and then you have that persistent kind of like, camp thing you're working on in between and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's neat. So anyway, and then of course the big one is Cyberpunk came out on Thursday. So I played that. I played it at midnight on Wednesday. I streamed it, and then played for quite a while on Thursday. So I had to delete Days Gone in order to make room for Cyberpunk for some reason, because I didn't think I was going to have to, because I had planned it out, I had plenty of room. And then at work on Tuesday or Wednesday, my PlayStation app pops up on my phone and says that I need to delete how many ever more gigabytes to make room for Cyberpunk. So I deleted. The only thing I could delete really was Days Gone, which sucked. And then after I did that, it popped up again later and said, "Oh, you need 57 more." I'm like, "What are we talking about?" So it ended up needing 200 gigabytes available on the hard drive to install Cyberpunk, even though it only takes like 110. I don't quite understand that. Somebody tried to explain it to me on Twitter. I still don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. So then I waited to delete something the second time until I got home that day to get on the PlayStation, and it said that it needed a minimum of 70 gigabytes available to download updates and stuff. So that makes sense, but 70 gigs seems like a lot. So in reality, instead of 665 gigabytes, the hard drive really is what, 590 that you can actually use, if that's the case, if that's really the case. So whatever, man. So that's frustrating, because I got to be honest, I'm missing Days Gone. I'm wanting to go back to it and play it, and I can't, and that hurts. So, but anyway, on Cyberpunk, it's a good game, and the graphics are good, but not great. And it's actually very glitchy, as you've seen. It's somewhat of a mess. It's definitely a mess on the base consoles, like on the base PS4.
Right.
Not so much on the PS5, but it is still glitchy. There are times where their legs will fall through the ground, or a cigarette is just randomly floating in front of a seat with no person in it, and stuff like that, which takes you out of it.
One of my favorite glitches I saw. This guy sitting at a red light in his car, and this guy walks across the screen in his underwear. He's always wearing his tidy whities, and
That's good.
he gets like halfway across the intersection, he just disappears.
That's good.
Amazing.
I have not seen that one. So I would give it like an 8 right now. The glitches and the graphical fidelity in general are really holding it back.
Mm-hmm.
So the HDR is broken on it. You have to turn. You don't have to, but you should really turn the HDR off on PlayStation 5, because it makes everything look washed out, like they didn't implement it well.
Right.
And then a lot of people have said that they have turned off a lot of the other default graphic settings, like there's a film grain effect, and there's a lens blur and motion blur, or lens flare and motion blur. And a lot of people have said they've had to turn those off. So
It just overloads the system.
yeah, and it just makes an image that doesn't look right. So,
well, and to your point about the image, you might have responded to this guy on Twitter, but I saw a post of a screenshot, and he said, "This is Cyberpunk on PC, and this is mine."
yeah.
And people were like, "What are your picture settings at?" Well, and it got me to thinking, like, it really depends on his picture settings. Like, what console is he on? I don't think he specified if he's playing on the 4 or the 5, but it's one of those things. It's like, you if you take anything and start turning features off and doing this and doing that, and if he's on the 4 and he turns on all of those things, of course it's going to look like shit, because the 4 can't handle that. So it's
Yeah.
like we don't really know what he's doing in the first place to create this shitty image, and
Right.
that stuff drives me crazy, because it's like all that those people want to do is just get attention, and it's like they were looking for a reason to be mad at the game. I don't know, it's weird to me, but and then they're verified on Twitter, so people read that and just assume the game looks like shit. I mean, it looks
Yeah.
awesome on PC. Everything I've seen on PC is
Yeah.
awesome, and maybe they should have just only released it on PC and waited on the console. Maybe that would have been an answer. I don't know, but people who
Yeah.
play it on the 5 that I've read don't seem to be having as many issues with it, and the glitches they do have, while it's frustrating or disappointing, it's not like it's a deal breaker for them.
Yeah. It's not game breaking. I haven't come across anything game breaking. It has crashed on me one time, but that's it. Everything else is just little visual glitches. And I didn't at first do anything with the graphical settings. I just was playing on the default settings, which it sucks that you have to go in and turn that stuff off and tweak it for it to look right. Shouldn't be that way. But like you said, it definitely looks like it looks and plays the best on PC, which is really no surprise. And it they really should have. It looks like they tried to shove this game on the old gen, as far as PS4 and Xbox. Like they just tried to shove it on there, because the things that I've seen, it doesn't look good, it doesn't run good, and it really would have benefited the game, but probably not their sales, to just do it on PS5 and then PC, an Xbox Series X, and then on PC and be done with it. But
Right.
it is what it is. Hopefully, not hopefully, they will patch the game as they go, and I'm holding out hope that it looks a lot better when they do the next gen graphical update next year sometime.
Right. I'm sure after that, it won't matter.
Yeah, the gunplay is fun. The gunplay is fun.
Mhm.
The loot is cool. The story is good so far. The voice acting is really well done. So
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll see. But even still, I'm still wanting to go back and play Days Gone. I find myself wanting to
Mhm.
play Days Gone. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't have it, so it doesn't matter.
Well, one thing I wanted to touch on about Cyberpunk before we get too far down the stream is I saw some people on Twitter and Reddit saying, like, maybe we should have basically, like you said, they shoved this game onto last generation. It looks bad. It plays bad. It's not a good look for CD Projekt Red or the game.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just release it on PC and the new generation, or just PC and then later on next gen when they do the graphical update? Why not wait? And I saw people saying like, yeah, just forget about 70% of the gaming world who are on the old consoles.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, look, and this might sound really privileged, but like again, people stuck on last generation's not anybody's problem, and except for the people that are there. And the consoles are hard to find right now, the new ones, and
Mm-hmm.
they are expensive. All of those things are true. But at the risk of making your company and your game look bad, do you just do something to appease the masses, or just do something like it seems like it's such a uh, I don't even know the word, like I want to say liberal policy, and that's not correct at all, but like, oh, no man left behind. Like this isn't the Marines. Like we can forget about people if the game's gonna suck. Like the game's almost unplayable on the older consoles. Then what's the point of
Mm-hmm.
putting it out in the first place? Like they're gonna be turned off anyway by the fact that it sucks. I just don't see what the benefit is.
Well, to answer your question and to the point that you're making, they did it strictly for money. They did it just because of the sales of to boost the sales of what you're talking about. You have such a big player base, and then they do have shareholders. They are a publicly traded company, and the other part of it is that the only copies that they allowed reviewers to review was on PC. They did not allow
Mhm.
any. They did not allow any console versions to be reviewed before the game came out.
That should tell you something.
So that tells you right there that they knew that they were not running well and that they played and ran best on PC. So they gave out the codes for PC. So
Mhm.
that just goes. So I gotta say, for as much goodwill as CD Projekt Red had built up from The Witcher until now, they've been burning through that pretty quickly this week and this past couple weeks between uh, that with the reviews and just how then now how the game plays and stuff like that. And so hopefully they can course correct here a little bit and get back on track. So with that, Travis, let's jump into the news here. We've got quite a bit of news, as you can see here. Some of it is just data from the end of the month, but a lot of it is news from the Game Awards and other places. So let's get into it. Number one, the Game Awards took place on Thursday night. It was a 3-hour show. It was a marathon, Travis. So I stuck around for the whole thing, and as you might expect, Sony and PlayStation came out on top. And here is a list of the PlayStation centric awards or PlayStation relevant awards that they won on Thursday night. The first one, the big one, The Last of Us Part 2, won Game of the Year. It also won Best Game Direction and Best Narrative. Best Art Direction went to Ghost of Tsushima.
Mhm.
Best Score and Music went to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Best Audio Design went to The Last of Us 2, as did the Best Performance for Laura Bailey in The Last of Us 2 as Abby. The Best Ongoing Game was No Man's Sky, and Best Community Support was for Fall Guys. Best Innovation and Accessibility was for The Last of Us 2. Best Action Adventure Game was also The Last of Us 2. And the Player's Choice Award, which was voted on by fans, was Ghost of Tsushima, who was in a heated battle with The Last of Us Part 2 throughout the week. And then finally, this isn't all of the awards, like I said, but these are all the ones that have a PlayStation slant. The Best RPG Award was for Final Fantasy VII Remake. So any thoughts on any of the winners here?
Well, The Last of Us 2 winning most of that stuff is like the least amount of surprising you could imagine.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I thought the best art direction for Ghost of Tsushima made a lot of sense. It was a beautiful game. A lot of the stuff they did was really cool, and I don't really know if you count a lack of HUD as art, but I'm going to count it as art.
That's a good point.
And the all the like the different masks and different clothes and different dyes and all that stuff. I mean, they just did. It's incredibly detailed, and we all know that. and that's not a surprise at all. The one that I thought was probably the most interesting was that No Man's Sky won Best Ongoing Game, and I wondered if it could have won Best Community Support because of the
Mm,
amount of stuff they keep putting into the game. Like, and a lot
yeah.
of that is community driven or community requested. I thought maybe that could have won both, but that's awesome that No Man's Sky is up there for something. I think that's deserved for what they've done with the game. Fall Guys being on there is kind of surprising to me, but I don't really know what else would fit in there besides No Man's Sky. I don't have any issues with any of these games, honestly. Best RPG, I don't think there was another choice
Right.
at this point. I mean, so anyway, it was
Yeah.
pretty cool. The player's choice didn't surprise me. I figured that would be Ghost of Tsushima or Last of Us.
Hmm.
As the week went on, it kind of seemed like Ghost of Tsushima was going to hold out. I think that Ghost of Tsushima is a little more accessible than The Last of Us. It's a little less dark, and that might have maybe made it jump ahead in the choice award. But you know, all of this is pretty much in line with what you'd expect.
Right. It was a big night for The Last of Us, predictably so, and it's got to be a little validating because you remember we talked about all the hate that it was getting and
Right?
how people hated the story and the characters and this and that. Well,
Where's that
it couldn't
now?
have it couldn't have been that bad. So it's a masterpiece. It's an excellent game. Everyone should play it. And then I'm really glad that Ghost of Tsushima won those couple of awards. It definitely deserved best art direction. Such a cool looking and unique looking game. Colorful and everything. So, and then No Man's Sky being best ongoing game. That's usually Fortnite wins that. I think the last couple of years. So good for those guys. And like you said, everything that they do is free as long as you own the game. You're getting all their updates for free. So that's awesome. I'm trying to think. Nothing else really stands out to me. So big night for Sony and especially The Last of Us. And that's not all, Travis. As we see in number two, beyond just a slew of awards, there were also a slew of game announcements for current and upcoming titles on PlayStation consoles. And these are somewhat in order, possibly. And I figured we could just run through these kind of like we do the news nuggets, and we can just kind of jump in wherever. First announcement here, although in the midst of some internal turmoil, developer BioWare showed teaser trailers for the next Mass Effect and Dragon Age games. A spiritual successor to the Left 4 Dead games called Back 4 Blood will launch on June 22nd on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And they straight up just ripped that game off.
Right. So we got to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, looks
Okay.
awesome.
So I know you and Jacob are excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I watched the trailer. First of all, it looks like incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. But the
Mm-hmm.
but the worms are a lot for me, man.
You're not going to be able to do this, are you? I just thought about this.
Listen, there's worms on a petri dish and they were like, there's shit coming out of its head, and then there was worms crawling out of this dude's eyeballs into his tear ducts. That's as far as I got. I got to that part and was like, I'm out. I can't do this. Like,
oh,
the
you're going to have to
worms are
sack up.
creepy as fuck.
You're going to have to sack up. It's Back 4 Blood. It's not Back 3 Blood.
Yeah,
What are we
no, the
doing?
worms are back for the blood, and it's awful.
Oh, jeez, dude, it looks awesome. I didn't realize it was like going to be out this soon. I had heard about it, but I didn't realize we'd never seen it. I didn't realize it was going. I mean, June is quick, so
Yeah, I'd like to see some more gameplay to get the worms out of my head, but
yeah.
it was just like the whole like up the whole start of that trailer was just creepy, weird stuff. I hate little bugs like that anyway, and it was too much.
We also saw the awesome looking co-op heist action game Hood: Outlaws and Legends, which will launch on May 10th for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. This game looked awesome. Also, did you watch that trailer?
I did, and I liked how it ended with like we're all outlaws, but some of us are legends.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm definitely an outlaw.
Yeah, man,
Like,
this looks.
it does look cool. So I wonder like how in depth it will be if it looks like it's a little more engaging than I anticipated.
Yeah, you mean as far as like there's more moving pieces, like more
Right.
like
There's more
I know what
depth
you
than
mean.
I thought. I thought it was going to be kind of shallow and like
Hmm.
not shallow as in like what game did you just mention that we were playing with with the monsters. You got to get in and get out.
Oh,
Um,
Hunt Showdown.
yeah, like that's a little shallow to me because you can't really like if your character dies, you lose them. So like
Yeah.
it's hard to develop like a connection like you could on like Red Dead when you make your character or whatever. I don't
Hmm.
know. It just feels a little shallow to me, and the challenge of that game is just it's literally like just trying to be really good at it. There's no like to me, there's no
Yeah.
depth, but this one seems like it has a little bit more substance.
Yeah. I'm excited. Can't wait. Also, a new story driven survival horror game from the creator of Dead Space and Striking Distance Studios called The Callisto Protocol was revealed and will release on consoles sometime in 2022. So, talk about games that you're not going to play. This is
Hmm.
definitely one of them. I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw this one. I'm not going to play it. I don't know. I don't know. I may try it, but this looks insane. This looks
Well,
way worse than Back for Blood.
well, yes, exactly. I'm not going to play it, but I'll forget about it until 2022, which is a good thing. Some of these games are nightmare inducing.
They are, yeah. There's a lot of like weird, creepy, like horror games out. Like I mean, or coming out. There's that one on Xbox. I can't remember what it's called, but it looks weird. Like all the guns are like limbs and arms and shit.
Okay,
It's weird. I don't
why?
know. I don't know. People are fucked up in the head right now, I guess. Also, publisher Annapurna Interactive announced Open Roads, a first person story based road trip game due out in 2021 on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Critically acclaimed open world RPG Disco Elysium will come to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 in the summer of 2021. And apparently, that game is either about communism or the guys who made it are communists. So, yeah.
Perfect. So the game will work. It'll work. It'll look like it's working for years, and then it'll collapse.
Bingo. Sega and developer, or
Hey,
Sega,
say it like the Australians.
Sega.
There you go.
Sega and developer Amplitude Studios announced roguelite tactical action game Endless Dungeon for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, but no release date was given. That game looks cool. Developer Pearl Abyss revealed an awesome gameplay trailer for their upcoming open world action MMORPG Crimson Desert, which will launch on consoles in the winter of 2021. This game
Mhm.
looks insane. I can't wait for this. This looks awesome.
Speaking of using the lack of a HUD like Ghost of Tsushima, at least from this
Hmm.
clip, they took that and ran with it. It's even less than they had. You basically
Hmm.
had a kill bar or a health bar, and that was it.
Yeah.
The combat looks sweet. Did you see all the blood flying off of the
Yeah.
swords and whatnot? It looks awesome. The There's a couple of kill shots. There's one that with the bow and arrow where he pulled it about an inch from the dude's head and shot him in the
Oh,
head.
yeah.
I was like, okay,
Yes.
this is sick.
Yeah. And then I liked that he was like body slamming everybody with his sword.
Oh
That was
yeah,
awesome.
or
That was awesome.
the guy with the big hatchet.
Yes. Yeah. And then it looked good. Like you said, the blood, and there was like all these like particle effects from like sword clashing
Hmm.
and whatever. It was cool. It
And
looked cool.
the environments looked really cool. I've never seen clouds like that in a game.
Hmm.
The water looked really cool, and even the scapes, like when they were painting over, the scapes looked like the Red Dead landscapes, but like more in
Yeah.
depth with more detail. Uh,
I agree.
you know, the only the only issue I have with it, and it's not really an issue, it's just like at the end, they were fighting like orcs or these little demon things or whatever. It's like we've
Yeah.
proven that we can play or have a game like this, and we don't need supernatural beings. I think it's a little
Sure.
bit. It just seems like such a cliche to me at this point to like have this great thing like Ghost of Tsushima didn't need any of that. We weren't fighting demons and this, that, and the other. The only
Yeah.
magical thing was a flaming sword, really, and even
Mm.
that's kind of realistic. You could actually do that. So I think we've proven that we don't have to have these games with ogres and uh, jackrabbits and whatever else. But it's fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree for sure. But in their a little bit in their defense, they're a South Korean studio, so they got a little bit of that Asian flavor, that fantasy stuff. So anyway, it looks dope. Can't wait. Hopefully, it doesn't get delayed. After that, we saw a third person atmospheric adventure bicycle road trip game, Season,
Uh huh.
from Scavenger Studio, which was announced for PlayStation 5,
Uh huh.
and no release date was given.
Yeah, it's a gold trophy on that to get ball cancer like Lance Armstrong.
So apparently, this game you like travel around the world and capture the last days of crumbling civilizations. So there's
On
that.
a bicycle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Fall Guys Season 3 was announced to begin on December the 15th. You and your wife are excited.
Uh-huh.
Side-scrolling Metroidvania Fist, Forged in Shadow Torch, was announced to release in spring of 2021 on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Evil Dead, the game from World War Z developer Saber Interactive, was announced for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and it will launch in 2021. The upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive third person shooter roguelike, Returnal, shared a gameplay trailer and was announced to release on March 19th. So
Still looks
soon.
good.
So soon. Yeah. Looks really dope. I thought the graphics looked good,
Mm,
and the gunplay looked good, and you can tell that it's got some of that arcadiness that
right.
Housemarque is known for.
Well, yeah.
So just a lot of action going on, a lot of bullets coming your way. So man, I'm stoked for that. That looks awesome.
I'd be disappointed if it didn't have some of that arcadiness.
Yeah, yeah. There's actually a different gameplay. So the gameplay trailer that they showed at the Game Awards, and then PlayStation released one after that that is different from the one that they showed at the Game Awards. So the one at the Game Awards actually shows like the HUD and everything, and I think is actually the better trailer. And the one that PlayStation put out didn't show anything. It showed gameplay, but no like HUD or anything like that. So we saw quite a bit of gameplay. It looks awesome. Can't wait. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed as well. Co-op 3D action platformer It Takes Two from the guys who made co-op hit A Way Out will launch on March 26th for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Oddworld Soulstorm shared a new gameplay trailer and revealed a new spring of 2021 release date. Developer Flying Wild Hog announced a new action co-op game called Evil West for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and it's due out in 2021. That game kind of gave me Van Helsing vibes from the trailer, so that looked kind of cool actually. And finally, publisher Bandai Namco announced a release date for action RPG Scarlet Nexus. The game will launch in the summer of 2021. Any other thoughts before we move on there?
I thought Van Helsing's a good call. That it is. It's basically Van Helsing. Are there vampires though?
There look like there's like demons and
Something
shit.
like
There's
that, right?
more stuff you wouldn't like.
Fair.
Number 3, Sony released a new PlayStation 5 hype trailer this week, which featured new and upcoming games. Of note are that Sony listed Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo from Bethesda as one-year PlayStation 5 console exclusives. Even more interesting is that Square Enix's future PlayStation 5 open-world RPG codenamed Project Athea is noted as a 2-year PlayStation 5 console exclusive. And finally, Sim Racer Gran Turismo 7 was noted as a PlayStation 5 only title, but it may no longer be coming in the first half of 2021, as this new ad now notes only that GT7 is, quote, in development for PlayStation, end quote, rather than the previous, quote, coming in the first half of 2021, end quote. Travis, any thoughts on this?
I'm surprised Project Athia is 2 years. I expected a year, kind
Yeah.
of like Deathloop, but that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I wonder if after the first year of Deathloop, and it goes kind of out on the other platforms, if that'll give it some extended life, especially if we have crossplay. I was thinking
Yeah.
about that last night. That might be kind of cool. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Gran Turismo, a forever PlayStation exclusive. Like I told you, man, it's not going to come out. The first date they give you is probably not going to be the one when it comes out.
Yeah, you guys are jaded by them for sure.
But I mean, it'll be here at some point next year. So, and I think this one's a little bit more robust than GT Sport. I think it'll have all of the elements of GT6 and all of the elements of GT Sport. So it's kind of like a combo of both.
Yeah.
That's a lot to try to put into a game.
It's a relief. I mean, I'm not going to play it, but it is a relief to know that it's not going to be on PlayStation 4 as well, like some of these other games. And
Right.
I mean, it's. I'm glad that it's going to be a true, next gen PlayStation 5 game. So because I think it's going to be a showcase for what the console can do, which is cool. And then as far as Project Athea, like I've never heard of a game having a 2-year exclusivity window, at least not recently. So, I mean,
Hmm.
obviously there's indefinite exclusivity and then there's usually like 1 year, 6 months, but 2 years. So that makes me wonder because Sony obviously had to pay more money for, 2 years than they would 6 months or a year. So they must They must think something of this game. I'm just telling you, if
Right.
they've bought 2 years worth, they think something about this game. So we'll see. Number 4, video games may look like real life in 10 years, according to Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick. Website PlayStation Universe reported that while speaking at a virtual conference this week, Zelnick stated, quote, technology will allow our creative folks to do things they've never been able to do before, including make games that look exactly like live action. What we do now looks a lot like live action, but it's still animation. In 10 years, you will have the option if you want to make things that look completely realistic, all done inside of a computer. End quote. Any thoughts on this?
Isn't it all done inside of a computer anyway?
Right,
Like,
right.
well, first of all, even if it looks live action, it's still an animation. That doesn't change either, dude.
Yeah, you're still coding and animate. Yeah,
Anyway, we've talked about this a little bit before, but we don't need video games to look hyper realistic for them to be good games. I think that's not necessarily something that you need all the time. Like Fall Guys is really popular, so is Fortnite. They don't look realistic, so
sure.
it's cool to have that ability, I guess. Like I think for like sports games and racing games, that's I think that's more,
Hmm.
I guess, realistic to expect that there. But even like a game like Red Dead doesn't have to be photorealistic. I'm not even sure how you'd make that work. Um,
Hmm.
I think sure you might be able to have the technology to do that, but I'm not sure that consoles will be able to support that. So 10 years would be the PlayStation 6. I mean, that I feel like that photorealistic open world games is something that would be massive,
Yeah,
like hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes.
you're right. We'll need 10 terabyte hard drives by then. I I think that Strauss is onto something, and I mean, he would know obviously, but I think we're going to get to a point because if I don't know if you remember, but when they did that Unreal Engine tech demo from a while back of like Unreal Engine 5 or I think whatever the newest one that's about to come out, where they're like had the girl like walking through like the cavern and
Hmm.
then the like pyramid with the statues and shit in it, whatever that was. And they talked about how those were movie quality assets, basically pictures, and then they just kind of transposed it in there. I think that's kind of a hint at what we're heading for. I think we might get to a point where whenever they make Red Dead 4 or whatever, they're just going to go to like Kansas and they're just going to have a film crew. They're just going to like film like 10 acres in Kansas, and then just
Hmm.
just take all that and put it in a game. I don't know how they're going to do that, but that's just my shoot from the hip of what
Yeah.
this means.
I mean, does that
So
make it faster to develop that way?
I don't know.
Um,
Sounds wild.
well, I will say that there's water on some games that already looks fairly realistic to me.
True. Yeah. Number 5, Sony released the PlayStation Store's best selling games for the month of November this week, and joining the party are PlayStation 5 games for the first time. On PlayStation 5, the top most downloaded game in the United States and Canada was Spider-Man Miles Morales, followed by Black Ops Cold War, Demon Souls, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, NBA 2K21 Next Generation, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, Godfall at number 7, Watch Dogs Legion, Mortal Kombat 11, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition at number 10, Borderlands 3, No Man's Sky at 12, The Pathless at 13, Dirt 5, Maneater, WRC 9 World Rally Championship at 16, Planet Coaster at 17, awesome. Overcooked All You Can Eat at 18, Observer System Redux, Redo, and then finally at number 20, Dead by Daylight Special Edition. Anything stick out on the PlayStation 5 list here?
Shout out to Planet Coaster for making the top 20. That's awesome.
Yes, I love
Um,
that.
I'm surprised to see Maneater up there because that game seems like it has no point to me. Like you
Yeah,
just, I mean, by no point, I mean like you're just a shark and you eat stuff. Like,
yeah.
but then again, Overcooked is there too, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But no surprises at the top at all.
No,
Spider-Man, Black Ops, all that's right in line. Demon Souls. The only, yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 is kind of weird to me to be in the top 10, but it's also in the top 11 in Europe, so maybe it's just
yeah.
a good game.
they released a big next gen update for that. Is probably why, I think. And then it does surprise me a little bit that Miles Morales beat out Call of Duty for number one. So that just goes to show you the power of Spider-Man, how big that IP is. And then also number 7, Godfall.
Mhm.
There's a lot of hate on that game. The reviews were mediocre. I think it's a decent game. I mean, it's fine. It's a good game. And so that coming in at number 7 is cool, but surprising. So then on PS4 in the United States and Canada, number 1, back on track here, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, followed by Assassin's Creed Valhalla at number 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales at 3, Madden NFL 21 at 4, FIFA 21 rounding out the top 5, which was followed by NBA 2K21 at 6, Grand Theft Auto 5, The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Minecraft, Marvel Spider-Man, Game of the Year Edition, God of War, Watch Dogs Legion, Red Dead Redemption 2, MLB The Show 20, Mortal Kombat 11, Marvel's Avengers, Star Wars Squadrons, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, and finally at number 20 on PlayStation 4, Need for Speed Heat. So again, that's just the PlayStation Store listings. Anything on the PS4 list stick out?
It's always surprising to see Rainbow Siege still on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love things on the European list, like The Forest is still there.
Oh, yeah.
Crash Team Racing is number 13. Like they just have some weird stuff over there that always
Yeah.
pops up. But Marvel's at 17
Mm-hmm.
for as much
Hang
crap
on.
as it gets. It's still in the top 20.
Yeah, it's hanging on there like a hair in a biscuit. And then Minecraft always surprises me it being in the top 10, but it's like one of the best selling games on the planet. So
Mhm.
I just don't play it, so it's not on my radar. And then Valhalla being number 2, not totally surprising. It is surprising that it beat out Miles Morales to me, but anyway, good month for games. Number 6, new data obtained by industry analysis website Newzoo reveals the most played games on the PlayStation 5. It's worth noting that this data is only through November the 15th, so only for the first 3 days of the system's launch. And these percentages are based on the percentage of PlayStation 5 users who have played the game. So the most played game on PlayStation 5 was Astro's Playroom, with 52.6% of PlayStation 5 owners having played the game. It was followed by Black Ops Cold War at 37.8%, Spider-Man Miles Morales at 36.1%, NBA 2K21 at 28.6%, Modern Warfare at 23.1%, Demon Souls at only 15.8%, GTA 5 at 9.9, Destiny 2 at 8.6, Ghost of Tsushima at 8.1, and Godfall rounding out the top 10 there of most played PlayStation 5 games with 7.6% of PlayStation 5 users having played it. So, any thoughts on this?
Godfall is pretty surprising, but I'm sure that will fall out when we have all of December added into that.
Yeah.
Also, Modern Warfare was interesting considering we have a new Call of Duty, but not particularly surprising. I know that there's some people just prefer that to Black Ops. It's if Astros could be surprising and not surprising at the same time, I think that would be the right way to put that. Um,
Sure.
like it's awesome for those guys that it's all the way at the top, and it's an awesome game. So you love to see it up there. Yeah, and Spider-Man and Black Ops are right beside each other, just like you'd expect. So I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool, all things considered. None of those are particularly surprising, I think, except for just if you just read all the stuff about Godfall, and then it's still in the top 10. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It goes to show that, Godfall did fine. They probably already made their money back on Godfall being in the top 10, on sales just on the PlayStation Store alone. And then it's a couple other things of note is that over 50% of PlayStation 5 users have played Astros, which isn't a huge surprise considering that it's a packed in game. It's pre installed on the console. However, just because it's pre installed doesn't mean people are going to play it. And the fact that there's just such a big gap, there's a 15 percentage point gap between that and the next game. So it just goes to show you that how good of a game it is. So pretty cool little list here. Number 7, the NPD Group released their November sales data for the video game industry this week, and it was quite a success for PlayStation. The PlayStation 5 had the, quote, highest launch month unit and dollar sales for video game hardware in U.S. history, end quote, surpassing the record-setting launch of the PlayStation 4 in November of 2013. The PS5 did not outsell the Nintendo Switch in overall unit sales for the month, however, although PlayStation 5 has been supply constrained. Also, the new DualSense controller was the, quote, highest launch month unit and dollar sales for a gamepad in U.S. history, end quote. One more interesting note before the charts here. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was the best-selling game for the month of November, making it the top seller in its launch month for the last 13 years. The last time a Call of Duty game did not debut at number 1 was November of 2007, when Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock beat out Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. The top 10 best-selling games on PlayStation platforms in November, so this includes 4 and 5 and both physical and digital sales. The top-selling game for PlayStation was Black Ops Cold War, followed by Spider-Man Miles Morales at 2, Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 3, Madden NFL 21 at 4, Demon's Souls at 5, NBA 2K21 at 6, FIFA 21 at 7, Watch Dogs Legion at 8, Ghost of Tsushima at 9, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure at number 10. Anything here?
It's all bangers except for the sports games.
right.
Everybody's mad.
They sell no matter what.
Yeah.
I agree. And I love the fact that Call of Duty, every time Call of Duty comes out, they always dominate their launch month no matter what, until at least back until Guitar Hero 3.
Well, Guitar Hero 3 is a legendary game.
Guitar Hero 3 might be the best one, number 1, and number 2, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is the game that really like put Call of Duty on the map, in the mainstream. So
right.
That's crazy. That is nuts. Number 8, got several news nuggets here to get through. As always, feel free to jump in here, Travis. First nugget, Treyarch revealed this week that Season 1 of Black Ops Cold War multiplayer will feature new Battle Royale maps, new multiplayer maps, and the addition of the popular gunfight mode. Let's go.
I'm ready for some gunfight. What is the new old multiplayer map we saw a picture of the other day?
Raid.
Raid. Yeah. Is that the only one we're getting back?
Yeah, the other one is new. It's called The Pines, and it's a shopping mall.
Oh, cool. So like the mall we had last year?
Yeah, so it's not, they just changed the name, and it makes it not old. Second nugget here, Spider-Man Miles Morales received a stealth update this week, which added a 60 frames per second with the ray tracing graphical mode. This mode may also come to Spider-Man Remastered at a later date, as hinted on by an Insomniac developer. Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red came under fire early this week, before the game even came out, for including epileptic triggers in their new game. In a post on Twitter, the developer said they were working to add an in-game warning in the short term, and a permanent solution is also in the works. I think I know exactly which point they're talking about. They could give you a seizure, by the way. There's no doubt. It's a no-doubter. So,
doesn't every game have a seizure warning anyway?
It does.
It used to be in the boxes for everyone.
Correct, except for this one does not. And I don't remember it making me agree to an end user agreement either. So It's very interesting. Very interesting. They better hurry before they get sued. Next nugget here, on launch day, CD Projekt Red revealed that Cyberpunk has sold 8 million pre-orders. The game also broke the records for concurrent players on Steam and viewers on Twitch, both crossing over 1 million. Incredible. So they've already, I saw that right before we started to record, they've already made back their development costs, and they were profitable day one.
Yep.
Before they ever launched.
They made $500 million on day one.
Yeah. Control developer Remedy Entertainment announced that the game has sold over 2 million copies, with November 2020 being its best month on the market, which is crazy. Their best-selling month is this past month. Wow. Later in the same announcement, Remedy also revealed that its upcoming free-to-play live service multiplayer game called Vanguard will feature, quote, selected Remedy world building and narrative strengths, end quote.
The hell does that mean?
I don't know. It sounds interesting. Just say we're gonna have a story-based live service game. Just say that.
Like other gaming companies work to their weaknesses. I don't understand.
Just a fancy way of saying, hey guys, we're going to have a live service game that's going to have a story. Okay. Anyway, the PlayStation blog Game of the Year awards are now open for voting over on the blog, and it's worth noting that The Elder Scrolls 6 appears in the most anticipated game category, perhaps hinting that it will make its way to PlayStation 5 after all. This is interesting because there are a lot of other notable omissions for this category. Like they could have put Starfield, which we know is going to come out before Elder Scrolls, for instance, but they didn't. But they included this game.
Right. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I hope they know something that we don't. I think that they do. I hope they do. Next nugget here, Ubisoft announced that Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake has been delayed to March 18th. Talk about a game they just need to cancel.
Right. I mean, they can keep that on Xbox as exclusive.
Absolutely. Predator Hunting Grounds developer Ilphonic announced that former NFL star Marshawn Lynch has joined the game as a playable character.
So weird.
It is, really is. A has-been, NFL has-been on a has-been video game. Hitman 3 developer IO Interactive released the first gameplay trailer this week featuring Agent 47 and his expanded arsenal in 4K glory. And it looked pretty dope.
Right. And then the cool thing they said was you can start it from anywhere. Like you start the mission from anywhere on the map. Because like in the past, it always loads you in. Well, you could pick where you would load in, but even if you load it in front of the building or in front of whatever, it was always in the same spot. But it makes it seem like now you can kind of plan out your approach, gives you a little bit more leeway. And
That's cool.
And of course, they went through all the different, how sneaky you can be. Everything's a weapon. My favorite one that I saw was there like, or you can just call a meeting with your target. And I like the idea that you're supposed to assassinate somebody. You just call a meeting with them and walk in and shoot them and walk out.
Right. Yeah, you can kill everybody in probably like 30 seconds. So
Right.
the YouTube videos are going to be awesome.
But it looks really good.
It does. And the DualSense features that they're going to implement sound pretty awesome too. So
Right.
I don't think I'm going to get that game at launch. I'm going to treat it like Valhalla. I'm going to wait for a sale and pick it up.
Right.
So it's not like I have space anyway, guys. So thanks for that, Sony. Next nugget here, Scott Pilgrim creator Brian Lee O'Malley announced on Twitter that Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, Complete Edition, will release digitally on January 14th, with a physical release coming sometime after that.
Oh, nobody cares.
Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Quentin Cobb, the gentleman who recently departed from the secretive new Sony San Diego studio, has joined ZeniMax Online as a senior designer to work for his buddy Ben Jones, who is the studio's creative director on a brand new AAA IP. So ZeniMax are the guys who make Elder Scrolls Online. So interesting. That's the guy that we talked about last week that left. So now we know why. Website PlayStation Universe reported that a hidden message in the Cyberpunk 2077 launch trailer revealed that free DLC will begin coming to the game in early 2021. So we can have free DLC, but we can't have a game that works. All right, got it. PlayStation Universe also reported that Sony's Funimation Global Group has agreed to acquire anime platform Crunchyroll from AT&T for $1.175 billion with a B, up from the originally reported $957 million. So just a couple more $100 million there. Sony now controls the anime market. It truly is nearly a monopoly. So must be a big business. PlayStation Universe also reported that Ubisoft has fixed Watch Dogs Legion crashing issues on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 with its recent 1.09 update.
Cool. Still waiting on that sale, Ubisoft.
That Uncharted and The Last of Us developer Naughty Dog is now hiring multiple positions to begin full production on their first PlayStation 5 game in 2021. Cool.
Tell me what it is.
Yeah, tell us. Tell us now. Also, that the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable, and PlayStation Vita will all stop accepting PlayStation Store payments through card and PayPal transactions starting on January 1st in Europe.
That's not acceptable.
By my calculations, the only way to purchase games on those platforms will be through a PlayStation Network money card. So that's interesting.
Well, we got to keep pushing games on those systems so nobody's left behind.
Don't you dare talk bad about the PlayStation Vita.
Oh, it's okay. We got to play Cyberpunk on the Vita.
People are doing it. Okay.
I gotta play it on my PS2 that Exhibit put in my Escalade.
Oh man, they're trying to kill it. They're trying to kill it, guys. This is just the beginning. They're killing it. So we only got 2 years left. The 10-year life cycle will be up. Website VG247 reported that the next Bioshock game may be going open world as a new job listing for an AI programmer at developer Cloud Chamber notes that the game will have, quote, a meaningful AI urban crowd system, end quote. Website Push Square reported that online survival horror game Rust has been delayed to, or online survival game, sorry, not horror game, Rust has been delayed to 2021. Push Square also reported that British newspaper The Times reported that gangs have been raiding lorries or delivery trucks carrying PlayStation 5 systems using a technique called a rollover, Travis, where a delivery truck gets boxed in by multiple vehicles while someone climbs onto the roof of the rear car to access the back of the delivery vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
All of this, of course, while in motion.
It's a bit rude, isn't it, bro?
I know you have something to say about that.
That sounds fucking awesome. Let's go over there and do it.
Dude, I should have watched it. There is a video on Push Square from like Russia where somebody did this of like how this happens. Oh, this sounds amazing. They're going to make a Fast and Furious movie about people stealing PlayStation 5s. So
it's very Guy Ritchie.
It is. You lads got to get under control over there. You bunch of wankers. Bunch of wankas. Push Square also reported that upcoming RPG Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is not likely to release in the first half of 2021. That WRC9 received a free December update, which adds 6 new stages, 2 new cars, and an online co-op mode. That current PlayStation Plus game Worms Rumble will receive a free content update on December 17th, featuring a new map, special game modes, and cosmetic items. That Dirt 5's next update will fix glitched trophies on the PlayStation 5 version. And that, quote, where to buy PlayStation 5, end quote, was the most searched topic on Google in the United States in 2020, ahead of both where to buy toilet paper and where to buy face masks, of course.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 5's in high demand.
It's the most searched item, not while in incognito mode.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair. Website PlayStation Universe reported that Destiny 2 will get cross-play support sometime in 2021, according to developer Bungie. Website Gematsu reported that arcade rhythm game Love Live School Idol Festival, approximately after-school activity, Way, home meeting, will launch on PlayStation 4 worldwide on March 24th. I could not wait to include this in the news, by the way.
That's like a direct translation.
It has to be.
You know, like, normally normally they translate it and they make it into like a discernible sentence. They just directly translated the words because that doesn't make any fucking sense.
None of that makes sense. None of that. Not one thing.
They're yelling the whole thing.
They are. School Idol Festival. After school activity. Okay.
Activity is capitalized for no reason.
It is.
Waluigi pops up in the middle.
Then we're having a home meeting. Gematsu also reported that Metroidvania co-op platformer adventure game Curse of the Sea Rats will release on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 in 2021.
That's what we used to call like the sluts in high school, the Sea Rats.
That's right. They also reported that turn-based expedition roguelike Curious Expedition 2 will launch on PlayStation 4 sometime in 2021. That Persona 5 Strikers will release on PlayStation 4 in the West on February 23rd. That Planet Coaster received new DLC called the Spooky and Adventure Pack on console, featuring new attractions, scenery, and buildings. Gematsu reported that Bad Robot Games, a subsidiary of J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Film and TV production company, has established an internal game studio led by Left 4 Dead creator Mike Booth. This is such an interesting dichotomy going on. There's one dude on the one hand who's ripping off Left 4 Dead, making it again, and then you got the creator of it who's now making video games for J.J. Abrams. Gematsu also reported that The Ruined King, a League of Legends story, has been delayed from early 2021 to sometime later in the year. That developer Telltale Games announced that they are simultaneously developing the entire season of The Wolf Among Us 2, which people are very excited about.
Is that the same thing as Among Us?
Basically, yeah. Gematsu also reported that developer Onion Games, which I thought was a parody for a second, announced that they are in production on a new sandbox RPG, which will be the final game from studio founder Yoshihiro Kimura. That Genshin Impact version 1.2 launches on December 3rd and adds a new map called Dragon Spine, I should say. And finally, Gamatsu reported that limited run games will sell a limited physical edition of Panzer Dragoon Remake for the PlayStation 4. Pre-orders will open on December 18th. And that is all for the news. It's time to move on to the new game releases, and I kick it over to Travis.
On December the 8th, we have Autumn's Journey on PS4, Axis Football on PS4, which they've made a lot of progress. It's still not as polished as Madden, but it's all you have if you don't like Madden. Following that, we have Destiny 2 on PS5. We have PES 2021 Lite, Monster Sanctuary, Nostos, Planetary Defense Force 2, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 on PS5 and PS4, Swords of Gargantua, and Tim Tim on PS5. PES Lite. From what I've read, the gameplay is actually a lot better than FIFA. A little more realistic, but it's kind of like anything. I would compare it to like learning to drive a manual. It's a little weird at first, but once you get used to it, it's fine. Like if you're used to FIFA, it would take you some time to adjust.
Interesting.
On December the 9th, we have Owl. I tried to look that up and couldn't find anything. Following that, we have Summer in Mara, which is about your first girlfriend.
I bet.
We also have Unto the End and the aforementioned Vigor. On the 10th of December, we had Cyberpunk 2077, Darts on PS4, which looked awesome. You literally are playing in the World Series of Darts.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Okay.
You have like a character and you throw darts. It's cool. We also have Flying Soldiers, Shady Part of Me. On the 11th, we have No Thing, Persian Nights 2, Moonlight Veil, Space Invaders Forever. And on the 12th, we have MXGP 20 on the PS5 and 4.
Can you believe they made a second Persian Nights?
Well, the first one was so good that it really, I wanted to kill myself, and then I played the first one, and I thought maybe I shouldn't kill myself in case they make a second one. So luckily, I didn't off myself.
Yeah, exactly. And for whatever reason, they did not note, but I'm pretty sure Swords of Gargantua is a PlayStation VR game. So I believe we talked about that
when I
last
looked it
week.
up, it was a VR game. It was pretty. It looks okay for VR.
Nice.
I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is.
You should play MXGP 20 with the Will. That would be interesting.
I have to get a bike set up.
All right, that's all for the new game releases this week. Travis, let's begin to wrap it up here. Let's close out the episode discussing what we are going to be playing in the week ahead. And why don't you start?
Well, if you're listening to this Sunday morning, our F2 race is at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard American Time today on the UNF1 YouTube channel. So I'll be doing that. I have not practiced yet, and they released new cars that we have to race. So I'm sure this will go really well for me. GT Sport this Wednesday is another manufacturer series race. I don't remember where it is, but I remember thinking it was a track that I liked. So that'll be good. It is, 12 days of giving on 2K. So I got a locker code to put in today. Hopefully we have some good stuff coming out. The locker codes are super weird. Like one of the packs is like with Derrick Rose in a Cavs jersey and people in like really weird jerseys. I don't really understand the point of it. It's called a double take pack, and they're just giving us cards we already have in a different skin. It's like our fourth Derrick Rose card.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know why they're doing that, but okay.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm sure we'll get in some Black Ops. I tried the FFAR. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It shoots so fast. I need like 100-round mag for it to be effective.
True.
But I want to try new guns, so I played around with that one. I need to try the AK-74U. Give that one a go. But other than that, that's probably all I'll get around to. I'm sure we'll play the League a little bit. Hopefully I'm in the easier part of my schedule now. And then we'll I guess we'll play some Vigor at some point. My wife and I started playing Crash Bandicoot last night.
Oh yeah.
So we're 9% completed with the first game, and it's just as annoying as I remember.
Yeah, those I don't think I can do that. I think those are probably people said that it's harder than you remember, which I totally believe. So
It is fucking hard.
Yeah, I'm probably out on that. So I'm going to play NBA 2K as well. I'm really in the mood to play our league. So I mean, my team's cool and all, but I've just been really in the mood to play our league lately. So I'm just enjoying that. So I'll play that some, and Call of Duty Black Ops, like you said. I really enjoy that game. And like I said, like I've said before, it helps that I'm good at it. But it's better than I thought it would be. So I'm interested to check out these new maps that come out this week and see what their take on gunfight is like. I assume it's just the same, but maybe they've tweaked it. So excited for the new maps and that. That'll be cool. Going to continue to do Red Dead to get my challenges and to work my way through the Outlaw Pass. And like I've said, I'm caught in between a rock and a hard place with that because I'm wanting to play Days Gone, and I really need to get rid of Red Dead to have room for that. So my goal is to get to the level 100 on the Outlaw Pass, and then delete Red Dead and get Days Gone back, and then have some room ready for Destruction All Stars and things like that. So, and then I also plan to play more Vigor. Just a neat little game. It sounds like maybe you're going to download it, so that'd be cool because you can play duos and have your little camp house, and then we can try to get some loot and get out. So check that out. It's free, can't hurt. And then finally, I'll continue on with Cyberpunk 2077. Although part of me, I got to be honest, part of me has thought about waiting until the PlayStation 5 upgrade to continue on. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting, and the reason why is because I feel like I'm getting shortchanged. Like I feel like I'm not playing the game at the vision that they had for it. I feel like if I was playing on PC probably, but I feel like I'm not playing it like it's meant to be played. So that's kind of disappointing. But at the same time, I don't really want to start it over either. So I
You
don't know.
just delete it and download Days Gone.
I know I've had that thought, believe me. I don't know. We'll see. If I start running into this thing where I have a bunch of crashes or whatever, or if we go like 2 weeks or if we go the rest of this coming week and they don't say anything about an update, I may do it. So I don't know. I'm in a tough spot. Anyway, I think that's about it. So we'll get out of here. That's all we've got for this episode. A little bit of a long one, so sorry about that. But if you guys enjoyed it, please subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Don't forget to leave us a review. It really does help in the algorithms and such. And why not share us with a friend who you think may enjoy a PlayStation podcast such as this, where they can get all the news in one episode in under 90 minutes every week. If you guys want to engage with us, don't forget to reach out to us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod and check out some of our gameplay clips and streams on YouTube at the DualSense Podcast. You guys take care. We will talk at you next week.